Hi everyone. Well, we're going to continue on in the finger picking series on ukulele. I'm going to call this part two. We have an introduction that we started off on. We're going to do a little short review of that. This is part two, where we're going to add a couple more patterns. And then there's one more part three that's going to complete this exercise for you. So let's take a short review. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at pattern one, the introduction pattern that we did, just that one pattern. A couple of things I'm picking here. Usually you would pick like as you're holding the uke. You can pick back here if you have a strap or anywhere along here because your ukulele is supported. If you're having to hold it, a lot of it depends on whether you're picking or whether you're going to be strumming and then picking. You might want to stay in one area. If you're able to move someplace, get a tone that you like, and then reach back up fast to strum, that's fine too. So those are things you have to decide depending on the song. But for today, I'm going to pick here because I think you can see my strings against the body of the uke. Another quick thing to remember is remember the pinky. Pinky is always anchored somewhere. I'm either going to have it, if I'm up in here, I usually actually support my ukulele. Anytime I back down here, I usually put my pinky down. Sometimes I'll actually curl it like this and it actually lays flat. I don't know if you can see that. It'll lay like that. But today I'm going to actually just point it down and it's going to ride right along this ridge here just to support my hand so it's not floating around here. I've actually got an anchor to it. So that's a little bit of review. The pattern that we looked at, the sheet that I'm going to send over to you guys, it's going to have all three patterns on it. So it has the introduction as sample A, and that was just simply the thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, and that's all that basically was, okay? And then we had some different metronome speeds. A couple things to remember is just sit down and kind of get used to plucking the strings so you kind of get an even sound between them. And again, you want to start slow until you're comfortable with that, okay? So let's move on now. We're going to look at sample B. The difference in sample B is that you'll notice on the first beat, we have the thumb, then we go to the index finger on the and of one, just like we did on the other pattern, but now we're going to come back to the thumb on that third string, then we go to the middle finger. And as all these patterns do, it really only takes 2 beats to complete them. So basically, we're taking a pattern, playing it, and repeating it to get a full measure. So on this one, again, you have thumb, index, you go back to the thumb, then the middle finger. Now this is starting what a lot of people, it's almost like a basic Travis style picking. And you'll notice if you look at the tab that the thumb's going to end up playing the beats. The thumb is on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's the fingers on the index and the middle finger are playing the upbeats. So you're getting a... So that's what's happening there. So that's something to take note of, is that the thumb is always going to be playing the downbeats, the 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's your index and middle that are playing the upbeats, offbeats, or the and, if you're counting it 1 and 2 and 3 and like that. So those are some things to consider. We're going to start off again, because we're playing in some slow tempos, I've changed the metronome, so instead of the metronome counting out the down beats, the metronome is going to count out all the beats. It's going to count the 1 and 2 and etc. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're going to start off at 60, and here we go. Again, this is going to be thumb, the index, thumb, the middle, thumb, the index, thumb, and middle. And again, we're just assigned to these 3 strings. Thumb is on the 3rd string, index is on the 2nd, middle is on the 1st. They never change. So let's try this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, 3, and 4, and we'll stop right there, okay? So that was at 60. Now let's move this up. We're going to take it up to 72. We may only make a couple of jumps today because I'm going to try to get both patterns in. But let's take this a little faster. This is at 72. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we'll stop right there. Let's make one more jump today. We're going to take it all the way up to 116. We're going to make a little bit of a jump here. Okay, this is at 116. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice how that thumb is always on those down beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, and we'll stop right there, okay? Good, good. So today we're going to be using the metronome markings of 60, 72, then we're going to jump all the way up to 116. Once you've played through 60 and 72 and you're fairly comfortable, you can probably make that jump. And then we can take it up even faster. So now let's take a look at sample C. This one is a little different, kind of breaks the pattern. This is one where you use what's called, it's a plucking technique, where we're going to play more than one string at the same time. So let's take a look at the tablature on sample C. If you notice, the thumb is still going to be playing the downbeats. It's playing the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we still have the index following on that 1 and. Now you'll notice that the index on the ands is always going to be playing by the index on the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we've done is we've assigned the middle finger, which is on your first string, is going to play with the thumb on the 1, and it's also going to play together on the 3. So you're picking two strings at the same time, and that's something you might want to stop right here and just kind of practice that. See what that feels like. Again, my pinky is anchored, what it feels like to play two strings together. Try to get them as even. You don't want one real quiet and the other like real loud, or the other way around. You want to get a nice, just even pluck. Again, not a lot of force, like that. So what this is doing is it's plucking with the thumb and middle, then the index, back to the thumb, to the index, then it plucks again on 3 and 4 and. So your middle finger is only playing on 1 and 3. The thumb and index are constantly going. And that might be a good way to start if you want to get that moving. And then when you can put your counts, 1 and 2 and 3 and like that, okay? So let's try this. We're going to do a little plucking. We're going to drop back down to our 60 on the metronome. And we're going to use the same jumps. We're going to go 60, 72, and 116. So here we are at 60. And again, this is counting out the 8s. 1 and 2 and 3 and here we go. 1 and 2 and pluck and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And here we go with our pluck, pluck and 2 and pluck again. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and we'll stop right there. Okay, good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that, again, rewind this, play through it. If you have a metronome at home, that's excellent because you can set it. If 60 is a little fast, you can always take it down to 56 or 52. Start as slow as you need to. Practice that until it's comfortable. Once it's comfortable, speeding it up slowly is not going to be difficult at all once you hit a comfort level with this. So let's jump up to 72 here. This is at 72. Again, these are the eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and pluck and 4 and pluck and 2 and pluck and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and we'll stop right there. Good. Now we're going to make that jump up all the way up to 116. So let's go on and make that. Here we are at 116. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're plucking with 2 fingers. 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we pluck and 2 and pluck and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and we'll stop right there. Okay, so let's do a little bit of review. We're still using just 3 strings. We've assigned our thumb to the 3rd string, the C. We've assigned our index finger to the 2nd string, which is the E, and we've assigned our middle to the 1st string, and that's your A. So again, these do not change. They never want to run around at this point, only playing those. Again, we've left the 4th string or the G string is not being played in these exercises. So here's just running through all of these. We're going to take them. I'm going to count them off. We're going to do sample A, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This was just your thumb, index, and middle, and back to the index. Now I'm going to switch to the sample B here, 1 and 2 and here we go, and 1. Now this was the thumb to the index, thumb to the middle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now I'm going to go to sample C, 3 and 4 and pluck. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So that's all 3 of the patterns together. So you can see where we're going, okay? And I'll stop right here. All right. So again, remember, slow this down, take your time. If you're comfortable with finger picking and you can move through this, that's fine. If you can't, it takes a little bit of time. But like anything else, once you get it, you don't back up. You just keep moving ahead. So if you stay with it, if this is a little complicated, go back to that pattern 1. That's the first thing that's getting you used to moving your fingers in a logical manner. You're just going from thumb to index to middle back to index. So there's nothing very strange about that at all. In fact, you could actually sit and practice this by just going on your ukulele, go. So you can get an idea of where your fingers are going. You could practice sample B. That's your thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. You could do it on a table. You can do it on your knee, anywhere you want to practice. Then the plucking is, that's 2. So you have your thumb and middle, index, thumb, index, both together. You can actually practice these movements with your fingers so that they get used to moving. I hope that helps. And we have one more part where we're going to actually introduce the fourth string. So for now, have fun, enjoy.